this situation, it is generally recommended to provide a new ground rod at the new automatic transfer switch, abbreviated as ATS, and connect it to the existing ground rod at the building. Here's why. Firstly, to maintain a grounding path. By connecting the new ground rod to the existing one, you are ensuring that the grounding electrode system remains complete and provides a continuous path for fault currents to flow to the earth. Secondly, code compliance is important. According to the National Electrical Code, abbreviated as NEC, a grounding electrode system must be installed at each building and at each service entrance. Therefore, providing a new ground rod at the ATS location would meet this requirement. Thirdly, consider proximity to the main disconnect. The main service disconnect is typically located at the property line or near the entrance to the building. By placing the new ground rod near the ATS, you minimize the distance between the ground rod and the main disconnect, which can improve grounding performance. Fourthly, distance considerations are relevant. The NEC does not specify a maximum distance between ground rods. However, a distance of 200 feet is relatively long. By providing a new ground rod at the ATS, you can reduce the impedance of the grounding path and improve the overall effectiveness of the grounding system. Regarding the lack of a disconnect at the building, the fact that there are 5 breakers in the main panel that each serve as a service disconnect is not ideal, but it is not uncommon in older installations. However, it is important to ensure that these breakers are properly sized and coordinated to provide adequate protection. If there are plans to relocate the service meter and current transformer, abbreviated as CT, it is a good opportunity to also install a dedicated main breaker or service disconnect at the building. This would improve safety and compliance with current electrical codes. Grounding systems are critical for electrical safety and proper equipment operation. A grounding electrode system consisting of ground rods, grounding wires, and connections to metallic structures provides a low impedance path for fault currents to return to the source, allowing overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers and fuses to quickly clear the fault. When relocating a service meter and installing a new automatic transfer switch, it is essential to ensure that the grounding system is properly extended and maintained. The primary reason for installing a new ground rod at the automatic transfer switch location is to maintain a continuous grounding path. Without a properly grounded automatic transfer switch, fault currents may not have a clear path to ground, increasing the risk of electrical shock and equipment damage. By connecting the new ground rod to the existing ground rod at the building, you create a complete grounding electrode system that encompasses both the service entrance and the automatic transfer switch. This continuous path ensures that fault currents can effectively flow to the earth, minimizing the potential for hazards. Compliance with the NEC is another important consideration. The NEC mandates that a grounding electrode system be installed at each building and at each service entrance. This requirement is intended to ensure that all electrical systems are adequately grounded, regardless of their location. By providing a new ground rod at the automatic transfer switch location, you are meeting the NEC requirement for grounding at the service entrance. This helps to ensure that the electrical system is safe and compliant with applicable codes and standards. The proximity of the ground rod to the main disconnect is also significant. The main service disconnect is the point where the electrical service enters the building and is typically located near the property line or the building entrance. Placing the new ground rod near the automatic transfer switch minimizes the distance between the ground rod and the main disconnect, which can improve grounding performance. A shorter distance reduces the impedance of the grounding path, allowing fault currents to flow more easily to the earth. This improves the effectiveness of the grounding system and reduces the risk of electrical hazards. While the NEC does not specify a maximum distance between ground rods, a distance of 200 feet is generally considered to be relatively long. The impedance of a grounding conductor increases with its length. Therefore, a long grounding conductor can introduce significant impedance into the grounding path, reducing its effectiveness. By providing a new ground rod at the automatic transfer switch, you can reduce the impedance of the grounding path and improve the overall performance of the grounding system. This is particularly important in situations where the distance between the service entrance and the automatic transfer switch is significant. In addition to installing a new ground rod at the automatic transfer switch, it is also important to address the lack of a dedicated main disconnect at the building. The fact that there are 5 breakers in the main panel that each serve as a service disconnect is not ideal and may not meet current electrical code requirements. Installing a dedicated main breaker or service disconnect at the building would improve safety and compliance with applicable codes and standards. A dedicated main disconnect provides a single point of control for disconnecting all power to the building, which can be important in emergency situations. It also helps to ensure that the electrical system is properly protected from overloads and short circuits. When planning to relocate the service meter and current transformer, it is a good opportunity to also install a dedicated main breaker or service disconnect at the building. This will bring the electrical system up to current code standards and improve its overall safety and reliability. In summary, when relocating a service meter and installing a new automatic transfer switch, it is generally recommended to provide a new ground rod at the automatic transfer switch location and connect it to the existing ground rod at the building. This maintains a continuous grounding path, ensures compliance with NEC requirements, improves grounding performance by minimizing the distance between the ground rod and the main disconnect, and reduces the impedance of the grounding path. Additionally, it is important to address the lack of a dedicated main disconnect at the building by installing a new main breaker or service disconnect. This will improve safety and compliance with current electrical codes. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer to ensure that the grounding system is properly designed and installed in accordance with all applicable codes and standards. A properly designed and installed grounding system is essential for electrical safety and the reliable operation of electrical equipment. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides comprehensive guidelines for grounding and bonding electrical systems to ensure safety and minimize the risk of electrical shock and fire. Grounding refers to the connection of electrical equipment and systems to the earth, while bonding refers to the interconnection of metallic parts to create a low impedance path for fault current. The grounding electrode system is a critical component of the overall grounding system and consists of one or more grounding electrodes that are connected to the earth. Common grounding electrodes include ground rods, ground plates, metal underground water pipes, and concrete encased electrodes. The purpose of the grounding electrode system is to provide a low impedance path for fault currents to return to the source, allowing overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers and fuses to quickly clear the fault. This minimizes the duration of the fault and reduces the risk of electrical shock and equipment damage. The size and type of grounding electrode required depends on the size of the service entrance conductors and the type of grounding electrode being used. The NEC provides detailed tables and guidelines for selecting the appropriate grounding electrode for a given application. Ground rods are a common type of grounding electrode and are typically made of copper or copper-clad steel. They are driven into the earth to a depth of at least 8 feet and are connected to the grounding system using a grounding conductor. The grounding conductor must be sized in accordance with the NEC and must be securely connected to the ground rod using a listed connector. Metal underground water pipes can also be used as grounding electrodes, provided that they are in direct contact with the earth for at least 10 feet. The water pipe must be electrically continuous and must not be insulated from the earth. A bonding jumper must be installed around any insulated joints or sections of the water pipe to ensure electrical continuity. Concrete encased electrodes, also known as UFO grounds, are another type of grounding electrode that can be used. They consist of at least 20 feet of bare copper conductor that is encased in concrete and is in direct contact with the earth. UFO grounds are typically installed in the footings or foundations of buildings and are an effective way to provide a low impedance grounding path. In addition to the grounding electrode system, bonding is also an important aspect of electrical safety. Bonding refers to the interconnection of metallic parts to create a lower impedance path for fault currents. This helps to ensure that all metallic parts are at the same electrical potential, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Bonding is typically accomplished by connecting metallic parts together using bonding jumpers or bonding conductors. Bonding jumpers must be sized in accordance with the NEC and must be securely connected to the metallic parts. Common examples of bonding include bonding metal water pipes, gas pipes, and structural steel to the grounding system. Equipment grounding conductors are also an important part of the grounding system. Equipment grounding conductors are used to connect the non-current carrying metal parts of electrical equipment to the grounding system. This helps to ensure that if a fault occurs, the fault current will flow back to the source, tripping the overcurrent protection device and energizing the equipment. Equipment grounding conductors must be sized in accordance with the NEC and must be properly installed and connected. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are another important safety device that is used to protect against electrical shock. GFCIs are designed to detect small amounts of leakage current and to quickly de-energize the circuit, preventing electrical shock. GFCIs are required in many locations, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas, where there is a high risk of electrical shock. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are used to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges caused by lightning or other transient events. SPD are designed to divert surge currents to ground, protecting the equipment from damage. SPD are typically installed at the service entrance and at other critical locations throughout the electrical system. Regular inspection and testing of the grounding system is essential to ensure that it is functioning properly. Grounding electrodes should be inspected periodically for corrosion or damage and should be replaced if necessary. Grounding conductors and bonding jumpers should be checked for proper connections and should be tightened if necessary. Ground fault circuit interrupters should be tested monthly to ensure that they are functioning properly. A qualified electrician or electrical engineer should be consulted to perform a thorough inspection and testing of the grounding system. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety and the reliable operation of electrical equipment. By following the guidelines of the NEC and consulting with a qualified professional, you can ensure that your electrical system is properly grounded and bonded, minimizing the risk of electrical shock and fire. The information provided here is for general informational purposes only and should not be considered as a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer before making any changes to your electrical system. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by qualified individuals. Improperly installed or maintained electrical systems can pose a serious risk of electrical shock and fire. It is important to take all necessary precautions to ensure your safety and the safety of others when working with electricity. Always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical equipment. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as rubber gloves and safety glasses. Follow all applicable codes and standards. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a qualified electrician to do the job for you. Your safety and the safety of others depends on it. In addition to the technical aspects of grounding, it is also important to consider the environmental impact of grounding systems. Ground rods can leach metals into the soil, which can contaminate groundwater. It is important to choose ground rods that are made of environmentally friendly materials and to dispose of them properly when they are no longer needed. Concrete encased electrodes can also have an environmental impact, as the concrete can leach chemicals into the soil. It is important to use environmentally friendly concrete and to take steps to minimize the amount of concrete that is used. By considering the environmental impact of grounding systems, we can help to protect our planet and ensure a sustainable future. Grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety and the reliable operation of electrical equipment. By following the guidelines of the NEC and consulting with a qualified professional, you can ensure that your electrical system is properly grounded and bonded, minimizing the risk of electrical shock and fire. Remember to always prioritize safety when working with electricity and to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others.